discussion on CPC that we were doing, and today we'll discuss Order 5 basically. But uh, let's just know that uh, we'll discuss summons as a whole, but we'll discuss Order 5, which deals with summons to the defendant today. And when the appropriate time arises, we'll also discuss the summons to the witnesses, which has been enumerated in Order 16. So, right now, we'll discuss Order 5, and along with that, we'll discuss the relevant provisions, that is, Section 27 and 26, I think. 26, 26, I think. 26. No, sorry, 26 we have discussed institutional suits. So, we'll discuss 27, 28, 29, and then we'll discuss Order 5 today. So, without wasting time, let's start with our discussion. Yes. So, what is it that you call when you talk about a summons? What is a summons? Summons is nothing but an intimation by a court made to the parties to attend the court when a suit has been instituted on filing of a plaint by the plaintiff. Then the court shall ordinarily call upon the defendant to appear. It can also call the parties, which we shall discuss later. But right now, we are just concerned with the case when the plaint is filed, the uh, suit has been instituted because the plaint has been filed properly. Now the court thinks that the other party should also come so that there will be both parties and there will be principle of natural justice followed, and the other party against whom the suit has been instituted, he can come and answer to the claim that is being made against him. So that is nothing but an intimation or call to the parties to attend the court in response to the suit at a specified time and place. So the principle behind issuance of summons is basically the principle of natural justice. Section 27, what it says, it talks about summons to the defendants. What does it say? That if there is a suit which has been duly instituted by filing of plaint, then it is the court's duty to issue summons to the defendant. ଗୋଟେ ସୁଟ୍ ଆସିବ ମାନେ କୋର୍ଟର ଡ୍ୟୁଟି ହେଇଯିବ ଏବେ ଟୁ ବ୍ରିଙ୍ଗ ଆଉଟ୍ ଦି ଅଦର ପାର୍ଟି, ଯାହାକୁ ପାର୍ଟି କରିକି ଆପଣ ସୁଟ୍ କରିଥିବେ, the court's duty is to call the other party, and for that the court will issue a summons to that person to do what? To appear and answer the claim, and such summons will be issued in the manner prescribed under Order 5. So Order 5 ରେ ଯେମିତି କହିଛି summons ଗୁଡା issue ହବ, ଯେମିତି serve ହବ, ସେଇ manner ରେ ସେଟା ହବ, and time limit has been prescribed that within 30 days it will be done. Section 28 says if defendant is in another state, ଯଦି defendant ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ state ରେ ରହୁଛି, ତାହେଲେ କେମିତି ଏଠି summons issue କରିବେ? ସେଠି summons issue କରାହବ through a court in such state. Suppose ଝାଡଖଣ୍ଡରେ ଗୋଟେ ଲୋକ ରହୁଛି, defendant ଝାଡଖଣ୍ଡରେ ରହୁଛି, ଏବେ ଓଡିଶାର କୋର୍ଟ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଇସ୍ୟୁ କରିବ, ସେ ଝାଡଖଣ୍ଡର ସେଇ କୋର୍ଟ, ସେଇ ତାର ଯେ ଲୋକାଲ କୋର୍ଟ ଯିଏ ଅଛି ତା ଥ୍ରୁରେ ସମନ୍ସ ଇସ୍ୟୁ କରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ। ଆଉ ଯୋଉ କୋର୍ଟ କୁ ଇସ୍ୟୁ କରିବ, ସେ କୋର୍ଟର ଡ୍ୟୁଟି ହଉଛି ସମନ୍ସ କୁ ସର୍ଭ କରିବା as if it is its own ସମନ୍। ମାନେ ଯେମିତି ଝାଡଖଣ୍ଡର କୋର୍ଟଟାକୁ ଯୋଉ ଇସ୍ୟୁ ହବ ତାଙ୍କ ଥ୍ରୁରେ ଇସ୍ୟୁ ହବ, ସିଏ ଭାବିବ ଯେ ଯେମିତି ତା ସମନ୍ ଭଳିଆ ଭାବିକି ତାକୁ ଇସ୍ୟୁ କରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ। But for that, rules of that state, ଝାଡଖଣ୍ଡରେ ଯଦି କିଛି ଅଲଗା ରୁଲ ଚାଲିଥିବ ସମନ୍ ସର୍ଭ କରିବା ପାଇଁ, that state rule will prevail। ଆଉ ଏଟା ବି କହିଲା ଯଦି କୋର୍ଟର ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ଅଛି, if the language of the court is different, then a translation to Hindi or English, as the case may be, shall also be made. Section 28 just talks about this much, that ଯଦି defendant other state ରେ ଥିବ, then how the summons will be served. Section 29 talks about service of foreign summons. फॉरेन समन्स कहूँ जदि आपण बाहर किसी समन्स आसिला basically from any court outside of that of India or any court to which this court does not apply or a court established by central government outside India. So basically आपण कहबे कि जे court outside India or any court to which this court does not apply can be different. काहे कि ना court outside India माने चाइना वाइना जोठरे कि totally out India रू बाहर but to which this court does not apply सेठी आपण पळे आसीबो तो इनसाइड इंडिया जो लिखा है ट्राइबल एरियाज द स्टेट ऑफ नागालैंड ये जो लिखा है सेक्शन 1 रे दैट it will extend to the whole of India except the state of Nagaland and tribal areas कोन सेटा पुनी स्पेसिफाई करा तो सेई जोटा कहला तो सेई सब जगह जदी सेई सब जगह किछि ओडे समन्स आसुची then in that case they may be sent through any Indian court and rules that are being followed in the Indian court that will be applied. So court are duty not to only issue summons but to carry out the summons that have been issued by other courts. So if it is issued to a court which is situated in another state, then that state's court has a duty to serve it. And if it has been issued, it has been issued by a foreign court and it has come to India, then in that case also India's court that has duty to serve the same according to the rules followed in India. Now coming to order 5, we are concerned with order 5, that is summons to defendant. First हम जानले तले plaint file हे गला तापरे एबे कोर्ट ड्यूटी को डाकिबा हम पढी जेतले प्लीडिंग सहित plaint written statement but first जेतले plaint file धरिबो तापरे तार सूट इंस्टिट्यूट हे गला परे कोर्ट र फर्स्ट काम होची समन्स करे डाकिबो तापरे सिना डिफेंडेंट आसिले से रिटन स्टेटमेंट फाइल करिवो ते नो आसिले रिटन स्टेटमेंट केन फाइल करिवो सेति पई एठी ताकू ए स्टेज रे ताकू डाकियो पड़िबो कोर्ट्स ड्यूटी टू कॉल हिम सेटा होची कहला देन सेया कहला कोन जे रूल 1 कोन कहूची समन्स टू बी सर्व्ड आफ्टर इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ द सूट टू फाइल द रिटन स्टेटमेंट विद इन 30 days बेसिकली कहूची जे आफ्टर इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ द सूट the summons will be served asking the defendant to file the written statement within 30 days. That's 30 days. We had studied while we were studying order 8 as well that the written statement can be filed within 30 days, but it can be extended up to 90 days for reasons to be recorded. Again, we had also studied that such 90 days can also be extended again because that is not a mandatory provision and that is just a directory provision as it has been interpreted by the Honorable Apex Court, and hence it can be further extended also. So summons will be served when the institution of plaint has been done, when the suit has been instituted by filing of the plaint, then the court will issue a summons asking the defendant to file the written statement within 30 days, which can be extended up to 90 days for reasons. Again, that rule says no summons if defendant appeared during presentation of plaint and admits the claim of the plaintiff. It also says if the defendant is present, suppose the plaintiff asiki case ta della setebeku defendant himself was present and he admits to the claim of the plaintiff. So kala ki nai jaha plaintiff claim korchu seta sobu jaga mu admit korchu. In that case it is not needed to issue summons. So that is what it says, that if defendant was present during the presentation of the plaint and admits to the claim of the plaintiff, then in that case the court is not required to issue any summons. Now comes how a defendant will appear. Summons will be issued. A defendant kemti be appear karibo. That is what this rule also says, that he can either appear by person or by pleader duly instructed and able to answer all material questions, or by pleader and another person able to answer all such questions. बेसिकली जेतले आपण कोर्ट डाकिबो आपण एका माने निजे पर्सनली जीवा बोली किछि बाध्य नै आइदर पर्सनली जाई परिबे नले आपण एडवोकेट को कहबे जे नै तते मु ड्यूली ऑथराइज करूची यू गो एंड आंसर ऑल द मटेरियल क्वेश्चंस जदि सेंति करछन ताली कर परिबे नले गोटे एडवोकेट पठै की ता सहित आपण को पुओ जे कि सब जिंस विषय जानि ताको आपण पठै परिबे देन आल्सो इट विल बी फाइन. सो these three modes the defendant may appear. तापरे को केस रे खाली इन पर्सन अप्लाई करिया बाध्य सेटा कि हम पढिबा. फर्स्ट आगो पढिबा जे कंटेंट्स ऑफ द सम, what will be the contents of the sum. So first will be that the reasons of the reasons of the issuance of summon. Reasons of issuance of summon is the first. Second will be sign of the judge or other appointed officer. Third is seal of the court. जज साइन करिवो तार किबा अदर अपॉइंटेड ऑफिसर माने तार बेंच क्लर्क जदी कहबो जे सील साइन करिवो सेटा भी चलिबो रीजन माने काहे की कोन पे अपेयर करियो होची seal of the court that is to be there से जो गोल सील ता थाए सेटा अपेयर रहयो पड़िबो डेट when to appear केबे तुमको अपेयर करे छी you have to appear on such and such date at this time and date सेटा भी place where to appear कि कोर्ट रे अपेयर करिवो कि गोटे कमिशन इशू हेची तो सेठी अपेयर करिवो कि कोर्ट अपेयर करिवो सेटा भी आपन जणाइबो तापरे सेकंड it must be accompanied with a copy of the plaint. Rule 2 रे या भी कहला that summons जतले पठेबे डिफेंडेंट को तार गोटे कॉपी ऑफ द plaint will also be given. सेति पय आपण देखिथिबे plaint to be given in duplicate बोली गोटे रूल अछि जे plaint ता जतेटा डिफेंडेंट थिबे सेतेटा कॉपी दवा पड़िबो डिफेंडेंट सहित सेतेटा कॉपी काना समस्त को आपण जतले इशू करिवे समान गोटे कॉपी ऑफ द plaint आपण दवा अदर appropriate direction जदि आउ किछि डायरेक्शन आपण दवा चाहउछथि जोडा कि necessary in order to make sure that the defendant comes before the court, then you have to give such a appropriate direction as well. If to personally appear, जदि तमरो चाहउछन कि personally appear करंतु without the pleader, then also you can give that direction. Then comes rule 3. Rule 3 is that if reasons require personal appearance of the defendant, so basically if the court is of the opinion that without personal appearance of the defendant the summons will not be fruitful or the case cannot proceed, it thinks like that, then the court can order for personal appearance of the defendant. The court can say that you have to appear personally, and you right now you can't appear through pleader or pleader and some other person. No, those two modes are prohibited. Now you have to appear personally as well. Court can also order that alongside the defendant being appeared personally, the plaintiff will also appear personally. That can also be ordered by the court. जदि आपण एबे कहबे जे काहे कि प्लेंटिफ को अटेंडेंस भी दरकार हे परे, आई विल गिव एन एग्जांपल दैट सपोज कोर्ट एबे डिफेंडेंट को कोर्ट कोन करछि ना जो प्लेंटिफ आपण पढिथिले हम प्लेंट रे जे लिखिला को प्लेंट रे यदि डिफेंडेंट र नाडा से जानिनी और ही इज इन डाउट हु विल बी द डिफेंडेंट, देन ही कैन राइट बोथ द नेम्स और अल्टरनेट बोथ द डिफेंडेंट्स ही कैन ऐड हम पढिथिले तो एबे दीटा को डिफेंडेंट ऐड कराई दीटा डिफेंडेंट को एबे समन्स कर दैछि बट प्लेंटिफ ताको देखिले कहि देबो कि हां ये होची एक्चुअली डिफेंडेंट. So in that case defendant को पर्सनली रखा होगा बाध्य so that they for that we can identify who will be the proper defendant तापर हम आर पट्टा को डिलीट कर दे परिया अब प्लेंटिफ को भी डायरेक्शन दे परिया जे you come and identify who is the proper defendant, who is the necessary party in this case, so that we can delete the other party who is not or who has no relation with the case altogether. दी जनकर सेम नेम अछि सपोज डिफेंडेंट कर दी जनकर एड्रेस भी सेम समस्त दी जनकर पूरा माने पाखा पाखी रुहंती तेणु हम जानि पारुने जे हु विल बी दी प्रॉपर डिफेंडेंट हियर तो आइडेंटिफाई करिया पे आपण दी जन को एकाथर पर्सनल डाकी दियंतु प्लेंटिफ को डाकी दियंतु एंड द प्रॉब्लम विल बी सॉल्व. दैट इज व्हाट रूल 3 says. रूल 4 हु आर द पर्सन्स हु आर exempted to appear. एठी ओटे बढिया कथा कहला जे को पर्सन्स विल बी exempted to appear. हु आर द पर्सन्स हु आर exempted to appear before the court. फर्स्ट होची जदि आपण लोकल लिमिट रो जुरिसडिक्शन रो लोकल लिमिट रे रहू नाहंती ताहेले जदि आपण लोकल लिमिट रे बाहर रहउचंती ताहेले भी दीटा केस रे आपण को स्टिल डाकी परिबो. फर्स्ट कहूची जदि जुरिसडिक्शन भितरे थिबे ताहेले आपण को डाकी परिबो जदि जुरिसडिक्शन बाहर थिबे किंतु 50 माइल भितरे थिबे कोर्ट रो डिस्टेंस आपण 50 माइल भितरे ताहेले भी आपण को डाकी आ गोटे कहला 200 माइल रो डिस्टेंस रे भी डाकी परिबो जदि 6th of distance of such distance between the court and the place of residence of the defendant will be less than 200 miles and 5/6 of such distance is covered by public communication, that is railway, steam or such other public transport. So एठी आपण तीनटा जिंस जानिया दरकार जे कोर्ट केतेबेले आपण को डाकी परिबनी जदि आपण 50 किलोमीटर रु बाहर रहउचंती आ आपनकर 50 किलोमीटर बाहर रहउचंती आ आपनकर कम्युनिकेशन नाही जोडा कि 5th 6th डिस्टेंस कवर हेछि किंबा 200 माइल रु पूरा बाहर रहउचंती ताल तो 5th 6th कवर हेताउ ताले भी डाकी परिबनी केबे तो दीटा केस रे आपन केबे भी डाकी परिबनी जुरिडिक्शन बेस रे जदि आपन 50 माइल रु अधिका दूर रहउचंती आ आपनकर डिस्टेंस इज नॉट कवर्ड not covered by public communication. 50 ରୁ ଅଧିକା ଆଉ 200 ରୁ less, କିନ୍ତୁ 5th 6th distance is not. So basically dita case re the court cannot call you, that is if it is 50 to 100, but sorry, if it is the distance, it is 50 to 200 and the distance is 5, jo 5th 6th distance ta is not covered by any public transport, then in that case the court cannot call you. Second is if you are residing outside greater than 200, ମାନେ 500 kilometer 500 mile distance ରୁ, so it doesn't matter whether 5th 6th is covered or not, the court can still not call. This is what it says. Next, section 132 bhi kahila that Pardhanashin women and other women who are prohibited by customs to appear in public, to appear personally, they will also be exempted to appear personally. 132 re we have to read in conjecture with all these sections which talks about the fact that the Pardhanashin lady cannot appear as well. Kaina ta custom prohibit karuchi ya semane appear karuchi. How ke appear kari paribani personally prohibit achandi appear kariya pai? First hochi president. 133 re vice president, speaker of Lok Sabha, union ministers, Supreme Court judges, governors of the state, LG or administrators of the union territory, UT US UT, speaker of legislative assembly, chairman of the legislative assembly, state ministers. So all this list that has been provided under section 133, all these persons are not required. How ki kote rahigala? High court judges, state ministers ହେଲା, high court judges ରହିଲା, ଆଉ 12 ରେ କହିଲା ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ବି କହିଲା rulers of former Indian states. ପୁରୀର ରାଜା, ପୂର୍ବର ରାଜା, ସେ ଏବେ ରାଜା ତାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ just customary ବି ଅଛନ୍ତି, but still the 87B ରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଦିଆହେଇଛି ଯେ ଯୋଉମାନଙ୍କୁ ତାଙ୍କୁ ବି exempt କରାହଉଛି, they will not be called to appear personally. So this is what it says. 132 133 re Pardhanashin lady, president, vice president, speaker of Lok Sabha, union minister, Supreme Court judges, high court judges, governor of state, LG of union territory, speaker of state legislative assembly, chairman of state legislative assembly, state minister and rulers of former Indian states, all those will be exempted from appearing personally. So questions padi pare je endi gote charta option dei debo that gote a re thibo, the question will be that which of the persons are exempted from appearing personally. First asila praise, second asila vice president, third asila suppose deputy speaker of Lok Sabha, fourth asila high court judges. ତାପରେ ଆସିଲା ଅପସନ ରେ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଦେବ 1 ରେ 1 2 and 4, 2 ରେ ଆସିଲା 1 and 2, 3 ରେ ଆସିଲା 2 and 3 and 4 ଆସିଲା all. So the answer would be 1 2 and 4 because president is exempted, vice president is exempted, high court judges are exempted, but deputy speaker of Lok Sabha is not exempted. So you have to remember categorically that which of the persons are to be exempted from appearing personally. It will be obviously you'll remember it. You don't have to remember it as such. It's easy. Next is rule 5. Summons to contain whether for either settlement of issues or for final dispute. The summons that you issue karibe, you will also ensure that it mentions whether it is for settlement of issues or for final disposal. Kahi ki eta mention kariba whether it is for settlement of issues or final disposal, our direction accordingly dabo, can defendant will be accordingly prepared, because if it is for settlement of issues, then he will just come and give his written statement and he can probably bring out his evidence later. But if it is for final disposal, then he'll have to bring out all the evidences that he wants to present. So that's why the summons has to contain whether it is for settlement of issues or for final disposal. Rule 6. Rule 6 says how a day for appearance of the defendant will be fixed. Court fix kariba day, which all things will be considered while fixing the day of appearance of the defendant. First was the current business of the court. ମାନେ କେତେ ବିଜି ସେଦିନଟାରେ ଯୋଉ ଦିନ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ଦିନରେ ପକେଇଦେବେ 100ଟା କେସ୍ ପୋଷ୍ଟିଂ କରିଦେବେ, କିଛି ହବନି। ତେଣୁ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ବେଟର କି ଆପଣ କୋର୍ଟର ବିଜନେସକୁ ଦେଖିକି କେତେ ବିଜନେସ ଅଛି ତା ବିଷୟରେ କରିବେ। ପ୍ଲେସ୍ ଅଫ ରେସିଡେନ୍ସ କେତେ ଦୂରରେ, 200 ମାଇଲ ଦୂରରେ ଅଛି। 200 ମାଇଲ ଆମର ତ କହିଛି 200 ମାଇଲ ଭିତରେ ହେଲେ 5 6 ଯଦି ଡିଷ୍ଟାନ୍ସ କଭର ହଉଛି ତାହେଲେ ଡାକିପାରିବା। 200 ମାଇଲ ମାନେ ଆଭରେଜ ରେ ଆପଣ 1 ମାଇଲ ଟା ସପୋଜ 2 କିଲୋମିଟର, ଟିକେ 2 କିଲୋମିଟର କମ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି 1.8 ବୋଧେ 1.7 କି 8 ଯାହା ବି, ସପୋଜ ସେଟା ହେଇଗଲାଣି 400 ସମଥିଙ୍ଗ କିଲୋମିଟର। ତ 400 ସମଥିଙ୍ଗ କିଲୋମିଟରକୁ ଆସିବା ପାଇଁ ଇଟ୍ ରିକ୍ୱାୟର୍ସ 1 2 days ତାକୁ ଯାଇକି ସର୍ଭ କରିବା ପାଇଁ। ତାପରେ କହିଲା ଟାଇମ ରିକ୍ୱାୟର୍ଡ ଫର ସର୍ଭିସ, ଦ୍ୟାଟ ଇଜ ଅଲସୋ ବିଟ୍ ଭେରି, ଗୋଟେ ଲୋକ ଯାଇକି ସେଠି ସର୍ଭ କରିବ, ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରୋସେସର କି କିଏ ଯାଇକି ଗୋଟେ ସର୍ଭ କରିବ, ସିଏ 5 6 ଦିନ ଲାଗିଯିବ। ଆଉ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ତ ଆହୁରି କାମ, ଆହୁରି ବିଟ୍ ଗୋଟେ ବିଟ୍ ଭଳିଆ ଫଲୋ ହେଇକି ପ୍ରୋସେସର ଥ୍ରୁରେ ଇସ୍ୟୁ ହୁଏ, ତ ସେଟା ବି ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଟାଇମ ଲାଗିଯିବ। and reasonable time to allow defendant to appear and answer। तो ଏଇ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଗୁଡାକୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ you have to keep in mind while fixing a day for appearance of the defendant, that current business of the court, place of residence of defendant, time required for service, and reasonable time to allow defendant to appear and answer. All these are to be taken into consideration. Now coming to the rule 7, which says summons to order defendant to produce all documents relied on by him in his possession or power। समन्स रे सेतरे भी करि परिबो जदि डिफेंडेंट को डायरेक्शन दिया हबो दैट जहा डॉक्यूमेंट तम पावर रे अछि और पोजीशन रे अछि व्हिच यू वांट टू रिलाई ऑन, यू मस्ट प्रोड्यूस दैट। Rule 8 says if it is for final disposal, then to direct to produce all witnesses whose evidence he relies on for his defense. So I told you if it is for final disposal, then he'll have to produce all the evidences which he relies on. So the defendant can be directed, if it is for final disposal, to direct to produce all witnesses whose evidences he relies on for his defense. Next is service of summons. Rule 9 says how the summons will be served. Basically, first it says that if first ଗୋଟେ ହବ within jurisdiction, outside jurisdiction, ଦିଟା ଭିତରେ ଅଲଗା ଅଲଗା difference ହବ। First ହଉଛି ଯଦି if it is within jurisdiction, then how summons will be served. If it is within jurisdiction, then it will be served by process server or approved courier. So these two modes. First is by process server or by approved courier if it is within jurisdiction. It has also been noted that if rule 3 re sub rule 3 re भी कहूची that it can also be done by registered AD. So third mode is registered AD. Registered AD रे ହେଇପାରିବ। Fourth is by speed post. This is the fourth mode. Speed post for approved courier. Fifth mode is other modes such as fax or EMS. आजकल ये इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मेल सर्विस अछि, एटा होची fifth। So ये पांचटा मोड रे आपण कर परिबे प्रोसेस सर्वर थ्रू रे, approved courier of the court, registered AD through रे, speed post किमा other approved courier service, किमा fax किमा EMS। ये सब मोड रे if you are wanting to service a summon you can do it। Process server किए, process server normally is of the माने a serving officer appointed by the court, ताको process server कहते। normally peons माने office peon माने साने promotion पाइले साने process server कहते। सो process server ର duty होची जे कोर्ट रे जहां भी समझ थिबो ताको नेकी सर्व करिया। तो सेठी process server थ्रू रे कर परिबे, approved courier थ्रू रे कर परिबे, registered AD रे कर परिबे, fax रे कर परिबे, EMS रे कर परिबे, speed post रे कर परिबे। तापर कहला if it is outside jurisdiction then how it will be done। if it is outside jurisdiction then speed post, courier or other modes। so जदि outside jurisdiction थिबो ताले आपण registered AD रे कर परिबेनी, बट आउ ତିନିଟା ରେ କରିପାରିବେ, that is speed post ରେ କରିପାରିବେ, courier ରେ କରିପାରିବେ କିମ୍ବା other modes ରେ କରିପାରିବେ। ନେକ୍ସଟ ହଉଛି ମାନେ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ସ EMS ଏସବୁ ବି କରିପାରିବେ। ତାପରେ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଆସିଲା ଡିମ୍ଡ ସର୍ଭିସ। କେତେବେଳେ ଧରାଯିବ ଯାର ସର୍ଭିସ ହେଇନି ବଟ ଡିମ୍ଡ ସର୍ଭିସ ଭଳିଆ। ଫର୍ଷ୍ଟ ହଉଛି ଯେତେବେଳେ ରିଫ୍ୟୁଜ ଟୁ ଆକ୍ସେପ୍ଟ ବାଇ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡର। ଯଦି ଏଣ୍ଡୋର୍ସମେଣ୍ଟ ଆସିଲା, ଯୋଉଟା ଆପଣଙ୍କ ସମନ୍ସ ପଠେଇଥିଲେ ତା ଦେହରେ ଗୋଟେ ଏଣ୍ଡୋର୍ସମେଣ୍ଟ ଆସିଲା କି defendant has refused or ତାର ଏଜେଣ୍ଟ ଯେ duly appointed agent ଅଛି he has refused। if he is refusing even when it was addressed to the proper address, then it will be deemed as if the service has been done। Second is if it is properly addressed and duly sent by registered post or AD acknowledgement due post and it was lost or misled and not received by the court। ମାନେ एडी मु एडी थ्रू रे पठेली से कोन ना चिरी के रखि देला और मिसडायरेक्ट कर देला, एडी टा को डायरेक्ट कर देला आउ गुटे कोइ जगह। सो ए सब जगह रे भी धरा जीवो यदि प्रॉपर एड्रेस रे सेल्ड हेची और ड्यूली सेंड हेची तल धरा जीवो दैट इट इज डीम्ड सर्विस। सो दीस टू आर डीम्ड सर्विस। केतेबेले सर्विस न होई कि भी धरा जीवो दैट सर्विस हेची। जेतेले रिफ्यूजल टू एक्सेप्ट by the defendant or agent, and when it is properly addressed and duly sent by registered post or ready, but was lost or misled and not received back by the court. Now comes section 9. 9A ରେ କହୁଛି that dusty summons ର କଥା କହୁଛି. Dusty summons ମାନେ କଣ? Plaintiff ଏଠି summons issue କରିବ. Summons ନେଇକି serve କରିବ. Basically court ଯେତେବେଳେ ଚାହିଁବ in certain cases can also direct for dusty summons. I mean normally 1cc case ରେ ବି dusty summons issue କରାଯାଏ. ଯେତେବେଳେ party ଚାହୁଁଛି ଗୋଟେ ଇଏକୁ ଆଣିବା ପାଇଁ even when the normal proceeding has been done. Suppose ଏବେ for example ଥରେ ସମନ ହେଇଥିଲା, ଗୋଟେ ପାର୍ଟି ଆସିଥିଲା, ତାକୁ ଏକ୍ସାମିନ କରାହେଇଥିଲା. ଏବେ ଆଉ ଥରେ ଗୋଟେ ପାର୍ଟି ସେଇ ପାର୍ଟିଟାକୁ ଆଉ ଥରେ ତାକୁ ରି ଏକ୍ସାମିନେସନ କରିବାକୁ ଏବେ କୋର୍ଟ ଚାହିଁବ ଯେ ସବୁବେଳେ କଣ ତା ଏକ୍ସପେନ୍ସ ରେ କରୁଥିବା, ତମକୁ ସେତେବେଳେ ଅପରଚୁନିଟି ଦିଆ ହେଇଥିଲା, ତମେ କାହିଁ ପଚାରିଲନି? So এই কেসରେ dusty summons issue କରିଦେଇକି କହିବା in addition to normal summons the plaintiff will himself go and serve it personally. But of course court ର ସାଇନ୍ ସିଲ୍ ରହିକି ସେ ସମନ ରେ ଯିବ, but ଏଠି କୋର୍ଟ ସର୍ଭିଂ ଏଠି ପ୍ଲେଣ୍ଟିଫ ସର୍ଭିଂ ଅଫିସର ଭଳିଆ ଆକ୍ଟ କରିକି ଯାଇକି ସିଏ ସର୍ଭ କରିବ. ବଟ୍ ହଁ ଦସ୍ଟି ସମନ ଆଉ ନର୍ମାଲ ସମନ ଭିତରେ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ହଉଛି ଏଇଆ, ଦସ୍ଟି ସମନ ସର୍ଭିସ ନହେଲେ ବି ଆପଣ ତା ଦେହରେ ଆକ୍ସନ ନେଇପାରିବେ, କି ଧରାଯିବନି ଏଥିରେ ଡିମ୍ଡ ସର୍ଭିସ କି ସବଷ୍ଟିଟ୍ୟୁଟେଡ ସର୍ଭିସ as the case may be, it cannot be done. Court will only have to reissue the summons. ଯଦି ଦସ୍ତି ସମନ ସର୍ଭ ନହେଲା then the court will be reissuing the summons. Now comes rule 10. Rule 10 କହୁଛି that ଯେତେବେଳେ ସମନ୍ସ ଆପଣ ସର୍ଭିସ କରିବେ ତାର ଗୋଟେ କପିଟେ ଆପଣ ସେ ଲୋକକୁ ଦେବେ, ଯାହା ଉପରେ ସମନ୍ସ ସର୍ଭ କଲେ ତାକୁ ଗୋଟେ ସମନ୍ସ ର କପି ଦେବେ. ସମନ୍ସ ବେସିକାଲି ଗୋଟେ ଏମିତି କାର୍ବନ ପେପର ପକେଇକି ଲେଖାଯାଏ ତଳେ ବି, ସୁଧା ତା ତଳର କପିଟାକୁ ତାକୁ ଦିଆଯାଏ. ସମନ୍ସ ଟା ସବୁବେଳେ ଡୁପ୍ଲିକେଟ ରେ ଯାଏ ଆଉ ତାକୁ ଗୋଟେ କପି ଦିଆଯାଏ, ଆଉ ଅରିଜିନାଲ ର ପଛରେ ଏଣ୍ଡୋର୍ସମେଣ୍ଟ ଆସେ ଯେ ତାକୁ ଦିଆହେଲା ଆଉ ଏମିତି ମ୍ୟାନରରେ ସର୍ଭ କରାହେଲା, ଏଇ ଟାଇମ ରେ ସର୍ଭ କରାହେଲା, ଏଇ ଡେଟ ରେ ସର୍ଭ କରାହେଲା, ଏଇଟା ସବୁ ଅରିଜିନାଲ ରେ ଲେଖା. ତ ସେ ରୁଲ 10 ରେ କହିଲା that signed sealed copy of the summons will be given to the person on whom the summons is served. Rule 11 says that যদি more than one defendants are there, then the summons will be served to each of the defendants. Rule 12 says to be made on defendant or in his absence his duly appointed agent. which ordinarily defendant କୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆପଣ ସମନ ପଠେଇବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି either defendant କୁ ଦେବେ କିମ୍ବା ତାର duly appointed agent କୁ ଦେବେ, ଆଉ କାହାକୁ ଦେବେନି ordinarily. But ଆଉ ତାର ଏକ୍ସେପସନ ଅଛି ଯେ କେତେବେଳେ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ କିମ୍ବା ତାର ଏଜେଣ୍ଟ ନ ଦେଇକି ଆଉ କାହାକୁ ବି ଦେଇପାରିବେ, ତାର ଏକ୍ସେପସନ ତାର ପର ରୁଲ୍ସ ଗୁଡାରେ କହିଲା. ଫର୍ଷ୍ଟ ହଉଛି କହିଲା if it is relating to business, rule 13 ରେ କହୁଛି if it is relating to business and the defendant not within the jurisdiction but the agent is within the jurisdiction, then can be served upon it. So first rule 12 ରେ କହିଲା ଯେ ଆଗ ଟ୍ରାଏ କରିବେ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ କୁ ଦେବା ପାଇଁ, ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ନଥିଲେ ଆପଣ ତା ଆପଏଣ୍ଟେଡ ଏଜେଣ୍ଟ କୁ ଦେବେ. ବଟ୍ ବେଳେ ବେଳେ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଯଦି ଅଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ ଆଉଟସାଇଡ ଜୁରିସଡିକ୍ସନ ଅଛି and ଏଠି ଏଜେଣ୍ଟ ଟା ଜୁରିସଡିକ୍ସନ ଭିତରେ ଅଛି, in that case ଆପଣ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ କୁ ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟ ନ ଦେଇକି ଯଦି ଏଜେଣ୍ଟ କୁ ଦେବେ that is also fine. But subject to condition it must be outside jurisdiction. The defendant must be outside jurisdiction. Rule 14 କହିଲା if it is a suit for immovable property then it can be made to a person in charge of the property. Basically ଯଦି ଆପଣ immovable property against ଗୋଟେ suit ଅଛି, then in that case ଆପଣ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ କୁ ନ ଦେଇକି ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ର ଏଜେଣ୍ଟ ଯିଏ ଏବେ ଚାର୍ଜ ରେ ଅଛି, ତ ଗୋଟେ କେୟାରଟେକର ଗୋଟେ ବଙ୍ଗଲୋ ଏଗେନ୍ଷ୍ଟ ଗୋଟେ ଇଏଟେ ତାର କେୟାରଟେକର ଜଣେ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଅଲଗା ଜାଗାକୁ ତାର ଯିଏ ଚାର୍ଜ ରେ ଅଛି, in that favor, in that person's favor also the summons can be issued even though he is not the proper defendant. Rule 15 is very important, which talks about summons on adult member. So ଏଠି କହୁଛି that defendant agent ଯଦି available ନାହାନ୍ତି, in that case the summons can be served to any adult member of the family. adult member ମାନେ ଏଠି କହୁଛି male female କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ. adult ହେଇଥିବା ମାନେ 18 ବର୍ଷରୁ ଅଧିକା ହେଇଥିବ, ଗୋଟେ adult member ଦେଖିବ ପଚାରିବ, ସେଠି ପଚାରିବ ଆଉ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ତାଙ୍କ ସ୍ତ୍ରୀ କି ଆପଣ ତାଙ୍କ ବାପା କି ମା ଯାହା ପଚାରୁଥିବ, ଜାଣିଗଲା କି adult ଅଛି, ଆପଣଙ୍କ ବୟସ adult ଅଛି ଜାଣିଦେଲା, then it can be served. ଯଦି ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡର ଆଉ ଏଜେଣ୍ଟ କେହି ଆଭେଲେବଲ ନାହାନ୍ତି, ସେ ଯାଇଥିଲା ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡର ଏଜେଣ୍ଟ ନଥିଲେ, ତାଙ୍କ ଘରେ କାହା ଆଡଲ୍ଟ ମେମ୍ବରକୁ ଦେଇ ପଳେଇ ଆସିଲା, it will be deemed as if summons ଟା sufficient ହେଇଛି ଆଡଲ୍ଟ ମେମ୍ବର ଉପରେ ଯଦି ହେଇଥିବ. But of course you can't serve on the servant. ତାର ସର୍ଭେଣ୍ଟ କୁ ଆପଣ ଯାଇ ଦେଇପାରିବେନି, ଯେ ଘରର ଚାକରକୁ ଦେଇଦେଇକି କହିବେ କି ନାଇଁ ସେ ତ ବି ଆଡଲ୍ଟ ଥିଲା ଆଉ ସେ ତ ଘର ଲୋକ ନହେଲେ ବି ଘର ଲୋକ ଭଳିଆ, ଆଉ you can't do that. ଆପଣ ସର୍ଭେଣ୍ଟ କୁ ଦେଇପାରିବେ. 16 ହଉଛି person receiving to acknowledge on the original summons. So 16 ରେ କହିଲା ଯିଏ ଯୋଉ ଲୋକ ରିସିଭ କରିବ ସେ କହିବ ଯେ ଲେଖିବ ଅରିଜିନାଲ ସମନ, ମୁଁ କହିଲି ଡୁପ୍ଲିକେଟ ରେ ସମନ ଟା ଯିବ ଆଉ କପିଟା ଦିଆହବ, ଅରିଜିନାଲ ର ପଛରେ ଲେଖିବ that ମୁଁ ଅମକ 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 ଏ ସମନ ଟା ରିସିଭ କଲି, ପଢିକି ଏଟାକୁ ମୁଁ ରିସିଭ କଲି ବୋଲି ଲେଖିବ, ଗୋଟେ acknowledgement ଲେଖିବ. So person receiving must acknowledge on the original summons. That is what rule 16 is. Now coming to rule 17. It says that जदि defendant or agent or adult member ए तीन जन भितर समान सर्विस होतले आइदर डिफेंडेंट को दोतले ताकू नले एजेंट को दोतले एजेंट को न दे पाले हमें adult member को दोतले पर जदि तीन जन रिफ्यूज कर दे जंदी एक्सेप्ट करिया पे केही भी एक्सेप्ट करनाती ताहले एठी सर्विंग ऑफिसर जो जाइथिबो जो प्रोसेसर जाइथिबो से कोन करिवो गोटे सर्विस रो जो समन्स रो कॉपी टाकू आउटर डोर किंबा एनी विजिबल पार्ट ऑफ द हाउस रे फिक्स कर विजिबल पार्ट ऑफ द हाउस किंबा तार जदि बिजनेस एड्रेस टा अछि तार से जो ऑफिस बाहर ऑफिस रो डोर बाहर किंबा गोटे विजुअल पार्ट नुह जे आप गोटे लुचे की पछपटे गोटे मारदेवे आ कहे हाँ होगा ना पछपटे लुचे की मारदेवे जापर जमी जानी सेमती कर विजिबल पार्ट पूरा सामने गेट सामने कि जो पूरा विजिबल पार्ट से मारे आउ ओरिजिनल गोटे एंडोर्समेंट देवे जेहेतु एमती तीन जन भीतर कहीं भी रिफ्यूज कले एक्सेप्ट करने सो आई अमक 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 नॉट फाइंडिंग एनीवन आर वाज बाउंड टू सर्व by this mode, that is by affixing a copy of the summons on the outer door or the visible part of the house or the place of business of the defendant. Rule 17 रे सेटा भी अलाउ करछि जब केई रिफ्यूज करले ताले एमती भी आपण देकी आस परिबे and that will be deemed to be a sufficient service. Rule 18 says serving officer to endorse time, manner of service and name and address of the witnesses or identifying person. तो एठी एया भी कहला जो सर्विंग ऑफिसर जे जाइथिबो प्रोसेसर ओटा सर्व करिया पे से कोन करिवो से जो ओरिजिनल सर्विस जो कहली दी डुप्लीकेट रे इशू हैला डुप्लीकेट रे गोटे सबले जीवो डुप्लीकेट रे गला माने जो फर्स्ट कॉपीटा एटा थिबो एटा गोटे सेकंड कॉपी थिबो समन रो एटा हेतिबो एमति लिखा थिबो एति के थिबो ऊपर लिखा थिबो एपटे तार कॉपीटा थिबो सेई जो एई डुप्लीकेट ताकू देई दबो ओरिजिनल ले लिखिबो कोन कोन फर्स्ट लिखिबो टाइम टा लिखिबो ओरिजिनल कोन कोन लिखिबो कहूची ओरिजिनल लिखिबो एटा लिखिबो सर केते बेले देला को डेट रे को टाइम रे देला मैनर ऑफ सर्विस वेदर डायरेक्टली दे देला कि तार एजेंट को देला कि एडल्ट मेंबर को देला कि अफिक्स कर देला आउटर डोर रे सब लिखिबो तापरे नेम एंड एड्रेस ऑफ द विटनेसेस और आइडेंटिफाइंग पर्सन किए विटनेस थिले से सर्व कला को जे आंको प्रेजेंस रे देली सेटा भी लिखिबो कि ये मते चिन्ह देला कि ये होची डिफेंडेंट कि ये होची डिफेंडेंट र स्त्री ये होची डिफेंडेंट र मा जो चिन्ह देला तांकर नेम एंड एड्रेस भी लिखिबो सेठी जे आइ मैं ये चिन्हले कि ये आंको प्रेजेंस रे मुते तापर रूल 19 रे या भी कहला दैट जदी सर्विंग ऑफिसर को एग्जामिनेशन करिया दरकार पड़ियो कोर्ट को देन कोर्ट कैन डू दैट एज वेल if any doubt as to the service is arising so जदी सर्विंग ऑफिसर को दरकार पड़े कोर्ट एग्जामिन करी कि तार वेरीफाई करि परिबो वेदर जेतरे सर्विंग ता प्रॉपर्ली हेछि नाही आउ 10 टा आउ 7 8 टा रूल रही गला but we'll discuss them tomorrow and we'll end our discussion today with this rule and we'll take up all other rules tomorrow and then proceed to the order 9 which will be one of the most important orders. If any doubt please you may ask but I hope it is very easy because it was all about rules and we had to discuss this we had to get this out of the way in order to get to the bigger orders or more important orders but this is very important in order to remember because short questions through both for frame and I've already told you I've already made this public that there will be a test on Monday and it will be MCQ based and it will be on a Google form so there will be fixed time of 1 hour and there will be about 50 questions you have to answer them and then we shall see how all of you have gathered the knowledge from PP Act and CPC which we have covered up till now. If anyone has any doubt from the today's discussion they may ask right away or we will end the discussion right here.
Excuse me, sir. I have one silly doubt.
Yes, it's not a silly doubt. Please ask.
Yeah.
Please
Sir,
introduce yourself first. Please introduce
yes,
yourself because I haven't been introduced to you.
yes, sir. I'm Shilpa Sangeeta Tripathi from the Law College, 5 years,
Okay.
and
What is the
and
doubt?
I am in the fifth year. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. What is the doubt?
So, sir, my doubt is कि ଯେତେବେଳେ ପ୍ଲେଣ୍ଟ ଫାଇଲ କରୁଥିବ ଆପଣ କହିଲେ ଯଦି ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଥିବ ତାହେଲେ ଆଉ ସମନ ପଠେଇବା ଦରକାର ହବନି ତ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ କେମିତି ଥିବ?
Defendant. ଥିବ ଖାଲି ହେଲେ ନାହିଁ, ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଥିବ ଆଉ ଆଡମିଟ୍ କରୁଥିବ ପ୍ଲେଣ୍ଟିଫ ର କ୍ଲେମ କୁ, ଇନ ଦ୍ୟାଟ କେସ୍ ଅର୍ କହୁନି ମାନେ ଆଣ୍ଡ ମାନେ ସେ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ଥାଇକି ପ୍ଲେଣ୍ଟିଫ ର କ୍ଲେମ କୁ ଆଡମିଟ୍ କରୁଥିବ, then in that case defendant is not necessary. I'll give you a very good example that ବହୁତ ଟାଇମ ରେ ପ୍ଲେଣ୍ଟିଫ ଯେତେବେଳେ କେସ୍ ଫାଇଲ କରେ ବହୁତ ଗୁଡେ ପ୍ରୋ ଫର୍ମା ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଥାନ୍ତି। ଆମେ ପଢିବା ଯେ ପ୍ରୋ ଫର୍ମା ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ କଣ, ଯୋଉମାନଙ୍କର ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି they are agreeing to the claim of the plaintiff. They will, pro forma defendant is a kind of defendant who is agreeing to the plaintiff. He has no objection to the claim of the plaintiff. But if you don't add them, then probably it will be hit by the non-addition of party, and that is the reason they will have to be added as pro forma defendants. So in that case, though they are defendants, they are present with the plaintiff. Plaintiff ସହିତ ହିଁ ସେମାନେ ଆସିଥିଲେ। ବହୁତ ଜାଗାରେ ମୁଁ ଦେଖିଛି, while I have been discharging the functions as a civil judge, I have seen that ବହୁତ ଜାଗାରେ ପ୍ଲେଣ୍ଟିଫ ଆସିଥିବ, ତା ସହିତ 3-4ଟା ଲୋକ ଆସିଥିବେ ଯୋଉମାନଙ୍କୁ ଆଡ କରିଥିବ ପ୍ଲେଣ୍ଟିଫ ପ୍ରୁଫ ଫର୍ମା ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ। ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭଳିଆ ମାନେ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ନମ୍ବର 1 ଟା କି ଗୋଟେ ଅରିଜିନାଲ ଥିବ ଯେ କି will be a player to the part ମାନେ suit, because ତାର ଅବଜେକ୍ସନ ଥିବ କ୍ଲେମ ରେ। ବଟ୍ 2, 3, 4 or 5, 5, 6, 7 ସେମାନେ ଥିବେ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଯୋଉମାନଙ୍କର କିଛି ଅବଜେକ୍ସନ ଥିବ, ସେମାନେ ପ୍ଲେଣ୍ଟିଫ ର କ୍ଲେମ କୁ ଆଗ୍ରି କରିବାକୁ ରେଡି ଅଛନ୍ତି। ବଟ୍ ସେମାନେ ଖାଲି ଆଡ ହେଇଥିବେ, ବିକଜ ଯଦି ଆପଣ ଆଡ ନ କରିବେ ତାହେଲେ ନନ୍ ଆଡିସନ ଅଫ ନେସେସାରୀ ଆଣ୍ଡ ପ୍ରପର ପାର୍ଟି ଆମେ ଯାହା କହୁଥିଲୁ ସେଥିରେ ହିଟ୍ ହେଇକି କାଳେ ଅସୁବିଧା କିଏ କ୍ରିଏଟ କରିବ କି ସୁଟ୍ ଟା ଡିସପୋଜାଲ ହବନି ବୋଲି ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଆଡ କରିବାକୁ ହିଁ ପଡିବ, ବିକଜ they have genuine interest over that property. So in that case ସେମାନେ ଯଦି ଆଡମିଟ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ପ୍ଲେଣ୍ଟିଫ ର କ୍ଲେମ କୁ, ସେଇ ପରଫର୍ମା ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଆପଣ ସମନ୍ସ ଇସ୍ୟୁ କରିବା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ। I hope you are clear now.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes. You are right.
ସାର୍
Yes, yes,
ନମସ୍କାର।
yes, yes, please.
ସାର୍ ରୁଲ୍ 6ଟା ଆଉ ଥରେ ବୁଝାଇଦେବେ, ବୁଝିପାରିଲେନି। ମାନେ ଜାଣିପାରିନି ଯେଉଁ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡାଣ୍ଟ ଆପିୟରାନ୍ସ ହେବ କୋର୍ଟରେ, ସେ ଡେଟା ଯେଉଁ ଫିକ୍ସ କରାହେଉଛି, ସାର୍ ଏକ୍ଜାକ୍ଟଲି ସାର୍ କେମିତି ଫିକ୍ସ କରାହେବ ସେଟା ବୁଝିପାରୁନି ସାର୍ ମୁଁ।
ଡେଟ୍ ଯୋଉ ଫିକ୍ସ କରାହଉଛି, ଡେ ଯୋଉ ଫିକ୍ସ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
କରାହଉଛି,
ସାର୍, ୟେସ୍ ସାର୍, ୟେସ୍
ଡେ
ସାର୍।
ଫିକ୍ସ କରାହଉଛି, ସେମିତି 4ଟା ଜିନିଷକୁ ଧରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ। ଫର୍ଷ୍ଟ ହଉଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ଯେ whether the court is busy on that day. କୋର୍ଟର ଯଦି 200ଟା ପୋଷ୍ଟିଂ ଅଛି ସେ ଡେଟରେ, ଆପଣ ଆଉ ଥରେ ପୋଷ୍ଟ କରିଦେବେ, ତାର ଆପିୟରାନ୍ସ ଟାକୁ ଆପଣ ପ୍ରପରଲି ନେଇପାରିବେନି। ସୋ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ହାଜ ଟୁ ବି କେପ୍ଟ ଇନ୍ ମାଇଣ୍ଡ ଫର୍ଷ୍ଟ।
ୟେସ୍ ସାର୍,
ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଇଜ ପ୍ଲେସ୍ ଅଫ ରେସିଡେନ୍ସ ଅଫ ଦି ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ। ତ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ର ଘରଟା କେତେ ଦୂର କୋର୍ଟକୁ, ସେଟା ବି ଆପଣ ୟୁ ହାଭ୍ ଟୁ ଟେକ୍ ଇନଟୁ କନସିଡରେସନ ବାଇ ଫିକ୍ସିଂ ଦି ଡେଟ୍। ତା ମାନେ ମୁଁ ଆଜି ସବୁ ସମନ୍ସ ଇସ୍ୟୁ କଲି ନା, କେବେ ପୋଷ୍ଟ କରିବି ନେକ୍ସଟ ଡେଟ୍ କୁ, ସେଇଟା ସେ କହୁଛି ଯେ କେବେକୁ ମୁଁ ପୋଷ୍ଟ କରିବି, ସୋ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍
ଓକେ ସାର୍,
କୋର୍ଟର ବିଜନେସ କୁ ବି ଆଭଏଡ କରାଯାଇ ପାରିବ। ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ର ରେସିଡେନ୍ସ ଯେହେତୁ ଦୂରରେ, ତାକୁ ବି ଗୋଟେ ପିକ୍ଚର କୁ ନିଆଗଲା। କେତେ
ୟେସ୍ ସାର୍,
ଟାଇମ ଲାଗିବ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ କୁ ସର୍ଭ କରିବା ପାଇଁ, ସପୋଜ ପ୍ରୋସେସର ବାର ଇଜ ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରିମଲି ବିଜି। ବେଳେବେଳେ ଆମର ଆଇ ହାଭ୍ ଫେସ୍ ଚ୍ୟାଲେଞ୍ଜେସ୍ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସିଙ୍ଗଲ କୋର୍ଟ ମାନେ ଛୋଟ ଜାଗାରେ ପୋଷ୍ଟିଂ ଥିଲା, when I was posted at ବଡମ୍ବା, I have seen ସେଠି ପ୍ରୋସେସର ବାର ବହୁତ କମ। ପ୍ରୋସେସର ବାର ଏତେ କମ ଥାନ୍ତି ଯେ ଆପଣ ଚାହିଁଲେ ବି ଆପଣ ସମସ୍ତ ଗୁଡାକୁ ମନ ଇଚ୍ଛା ଲେଖିଦେଇ ପଠେଇଦେବେ, ସେଗୁଡାକୁ ସେ ଚାହିଁଲେ ଯାଇପାରିବନି, କାହିଁକିନା ଗୋଟେ ଥିବ ଏପଟ ବିଟ୍ ରେ, ଗୋଟେ ଥିବ ଆର ପଟ ବିଟ୍। So it will be very
ୟେସ୍ ସାର୍,
difficult to serve. So you have
ୟେସ୍
to
ସାର୍,
make sure କି whether କେତେ ଟାଇମ ଲାଗୁଛି ସର୍ଭ ହବା ପାଇଁ, ସେଇଟା ବି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କନସିଡରେସନ ନବାକୁ ପଡିବ। Fourth is you have to also make sure କି ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଟା କଣ କରୁଛି। ସବୁ ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଇଜ ଦ କଲେକ୍ଟର। ତ ଆପଣ
ୟେସ୍ ସାର୍,
ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ କୁ କଲେକ୍ଟର ଆପଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଏକ୍ସପେକ୍ଟ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଟୁ ଆପିୟର, ଦେନ୍ ୟୁ ମଷ୍ଟ ଗିଭ୍ ହିମ୍ ରିଜନେବଲ ଟାଇମ। ଗୋଟେ ନର୍ମାଲ ଲୋକ ତାକୁ ଟିକେ କମ ଟାଇମ ଦବା, ଗୋଟେ ମିନିଷ୍ଟର ଭିତରକୁ ଡାକିଲେ ହାଉ ବିଜି ହି ଇଜ ହି। ସୋ ଆମକୁ वी हैव टू टेक इनटू कंसीडरेशन ऑल दिस फोर थिंग्स। କୋର୍ଟର ବିଜନେସ, କୋର୍ଟର ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହବା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ, ପ୍ରୋସେସରଙ୍କ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହବା କଥା ନୁହଁ, ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ର ଘରଟା ଏତେ ଦୂର ବି ଥିବ ଯଦି ତାକୁ ବି ଆସିବା ପାଇଁ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ନ ହେଇଥିବା କଥା, ତାର
ନିହାତି ସାର୍।
ଡିଫେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ର ଷ୍ଟେଟ ଅଫ ବିଜନେସ ବି ହ୍ୟାମ୍ପର ନ କରିକି ସେ ବି ଆସିବା ଦରକାର। ଏଇ 4ଟା ଜିନିଷକୁ କନସିଡର କରିକି ୟୁ ହାଭ୍ ଟୁ ଫିକ୍ସ ଇଟ୍। ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ ଗୋଟେ
ସାର୍ ସେ ଡେଟ୍ଟା କୋର୍ଟ ଫିକ୍ସ କରିବ ସବୁ
yes,
ଜିନିଷକୁ ଇଏ ମାନେ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟ ରଖି।
yes, yes, yes. ସେମାନେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆପଣ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ନା କୋର୍ଟ ହିଁ ସଫିକ୍ସ କରିବ କି ଅନ୍ ଦିସ୍ ଡେ ୟୁ ଆର୍ ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟେଡ ଟୁ ଅପିୟର, ଦିସ୍ ଡେଟ୍ ଆଟ୍ ଦିସ୍ ଟାଇମ୍ ଆଟ୍ ଦିସ୍ ପ୍ଲେସ୍, ସେଟା ବି ଲେଖିବ। ଯଦି ମୁଁ କହିଲି, କାହିଁ ଆପଣ କହିବେ ଯେ କୋର୍ଟ ତ କରୁଛି ତ ଆପଣ ପୁଣି ପ୍ଲେସ୍ କାହିଁ ଲେଖିବେ, କାହିଁକିନା ବେଳେ ବେଳେ କୋର୍ଟ କମିଶନ ହେଇକି ଯିବ। ଆମେ ପଢିବା କମିଶନ ପଢିଲା ବେଳକୁ କୋର୍ଟ
ଆଜ୍ଞା,
ସେଠି କମିଶନ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଯେତେବେଳେ ହେଇଥିବ ସେଟା ଅଲଗା ଜାଗାରେ ବି ହେଇପାରିବ। ସପୋଜ ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାକୁ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ନଡିଆ ଗଛର କଣ ଫାର୍ମ ଅଛି, କେତେଟା ନଡିଆ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଅଛି ତାକୁ ଆପଣ କାଉଣ୍ଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ହେଲେ ଗୋଟେ କମିଶନ ଇସ୍ୟୁ କରିବାକୁ, ବିକଜ
ୟେସ୍
କୋର୍ଟ
ସାର୍,
ଯାଇକି ତାକୁ ତ ଆପଣ ଦେଖିପାରିବେନି ଏକ୍ସାକ୍ଟ। So in that case ଯଦି ସେଇଟା ଜାଗାରେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, I just give you an example. So
ୟେସ୍
that
ସାର୍,
case ଆପଣ appear କହିବେ ଯେ
ଏକ୍ଜାକ୍ଟଲି ଏକ୍ଜାକ୍ଟଲି,
you go and appear at that place. So
ୟେସ୍ ସାର୍।
କୋର୍ଟ ର ସେଠି କାମ ଯେ ଟାଇମ, ଡେଟ୍, ପ୍ଲେସ୍, ମ୍ୟାନର, ରିଜନ ଦେଇଥିବ, ସବୁ ଯାକ କୋର୍ଟ ସେଠି ଫିକ୍ସ
ଓକେ ସାର୍, ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ସାର୍, ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ।
କରିବ। Any other doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we'll end our discussion here. We'll be introduced to one to more persons, because some all of you are not asking doubts, and by that logic will not be introduced to all of the class. So Arindam, starting with A. Arindam, please introduce yourself. If Arindam is there, still there, please introduce yourself. Arpita left because she thought I will be the next one. So let me just leave. Okay, Purnima. Purnima, introduce yourself.
Good evening, sir. Sir, my name is Purnima Sahu. I am pursuing LLM in SOA.
That's great. So you are planning to appear judiciary?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sarbani or Shabani ma'am, please introduce yourself.
Hello,
Yes, Shabani ma'am, please introduce yourself.
this is Sarbani Das. Now I'm
Sarbani.
working as
Okay.
a handler DLSA Puri.
Oh, great. You're a lawyer,
Diploma
so
joined me here.
okay, great, ma'am. So Suprama Bohidar, please introduce yourself as well. Suprama ma'am, if you're there, please introduce yourself. Or I believe
Sorry,
she's
sir. Sorry, sir. My voice is not clear.
okay. Please introduce yourself now.
Sir, my name is Brahma Mahidar and from Balangir Law College.
Oh, that's great. You are preparing for judiciary as well?
Yes, sir.
Great. Sadhak Karji, please introduce yourself.
Good evening, sir. I'm Sadhak Karji and I'm pursuing LLM and also have given OJS mains.
Which just means you have given, so you have cleared prelims. So you must have a good idea about the subject. So I hope the papers were nice.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I wish you all the best that you clear it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Who else? Who else? Pina Mishra. Pina Mishra. Pina Mishra, if you're there, please introduce yourself. Whether your name is actually Pina Mishra and what is it? Please say if you're there. I hope probably he's not there. So Manas Sahu. This will be the last person will be introduced to today. Will be introduced to other persons tomorrow or the day after. Manas Sahu, sir, please introduce yourself. Okay. Probably she is not there as well. So I want to be introduced to one more person. That will be Shraddha Pradhan. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, sir. This is Shraddha, and I'm currently pursuing LLM in Madhusudan University, Law University.
Okay, great. So it was nice meeting you all, and so by this we'll end our discussion here today. We'll take up the other rules that we have left, that is substituted surveys and the other rules tomorrow, and then proceed with order 9, which talks about the appearance and appearance of the parties, and for non-appearance, what can be the consequence. We'll discuss that as well. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir.